What's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
All right, today we're answering your questions, and today's question is about making the major leagues. My advice to players that want to try to make it in the major leagues, or at least make it in professional baseball. What would I tell them, since I've been through the journey and played high school ball and college ball and was drafted and played pro ball and played in the major leagues for a little bit. And so I've thought about a couple of things that I think will potentially help. The first thing, the biggest thing, is that you have to love the game and love the practice, and really, really love it. It can't just be a hobby. It can't be something like, I think I'm gonna try to become a professional baseball player. I think I'm gonna try to make it to the major leagues. It has to be like deep down inside you. This has to be something that you will almost do anything to get, right? And you have to love the process of playing and practicing, because for a few reasons. One, it takes a ton of work. We'll get into that in a second. But there's going to be a lot of failure involved in this, because baseball is a tough game. Baseball is a game of failure. And so it's not going to be easy. I can think to so many days, and I was pretty successful in high school and pretty successful in college, and there were plenty of days where I had such a bad game or such a bad couple of games, and you just feel terrible. Like baseball just beats you up mentally. It just beats you up. And you have to continue to push forward. If you don't love it, if you don't love baseball, if you don't love playing and practicing, then when you get that, not just that one or two times of failure and that horrible feeling, but when you get it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, are you going to keep wanting to pursue that professional or major league dream, knowing that it beats the ever-living crap out of you mentally? And if you don't love it, I think it's going to be really, really difficult to continue to push forward. So that's the first thing, is that you've got to love playing the game, and you got to love practicing. All right, the second thing is consistency. You're going to have to do this consistently, practice consistently. You're going to have great habits, not just practice habits, right? Because when it comes to practice, obviously, you want to be one of the best players in the world. There's a lot of players. Think about the entire world now. Baseball is a global game. Think about the entire world and how many players right now are sitting at home, anywhere, saying, all I want to do is play in the major leagues. There's a lot of them. There's millions of them. There's millions. And so you're going to have to practice an awful lot. You're going to have to be really, really consistent with it, right? That's the first thing. But other than just your practice habits, just your general habits, there's going to be a lot of sacrifices that are going to need to be made, because you need to put a lot of time in. And so the players that I see that make it really far are almost always the hardest workers. And they're the hardest workers because they develop really good habits. Again, not only practice habits, but other types of habits. And so we talk about habits and these sacrifices, right? And having kind of self-discipline. Self-discipline, doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether you want to do it or not, right? Whether you feel like it or not. And so if you want to be a great player and play at a really high level, you have to have these types of habits where maybe you want to go, maybe you just enjoy going out late at night over and over again, right? You want to be with your friends all the time. And I'm not saying you can't have friends. I'm not saying that. But, you want to spend all your time out at night, and you don't want to get much sleep, and you want to eat crap food, and you want to drink, and you don't want to take care of your body, and you want to do all these things, right? It's going to be really difficult to play at a high level when you're competing against these millions of players. And a lot of these millions of players are going to sacrifice some of those things, or some of them will sacrifice all of those things. Some of them sacrifice everything, and they only focus on baseball and developing in baseball 24/7. Again, I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm not saying you have to do that. But there are people out there that are going to do that. And so there are going to be some sacrifices, or a lot of sacrifices that have to be made. There has to be really, you have to be really self-disciplined, and you have to create really good habits to be able to put yourself in a situation where you're consistently developing. You're getting better every single day. The next thing is patience. And you're going to have a ton of patience. If you're someone that says, I want to be an astronaut today. Like, I want to be an astronaut. I'm going to the moon right now. Right now I'm going. And you don't go right now and you say, you know what, I want to be a race car driver. I didn't get to the moon today, so I'm going to be a race car driver. That's what I'm going to be a NASCAR. I know nothing about NASCAR. I don't know why I picked this, but I'm going to be a NASCAR driver, right? Tomorrow I'm going to be a NASCAR driver. And then you don't get there tomorrow, and then tomorrow shows up and you're like, I want to be Phil Mickelson. Like, I want to be a golfer, right? You cannot do this. You need extreme patience because it's going to take a long time. And by a long time, I mean years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And I can keep saying years for the entire video. It's going to take a very, very long time if you want to be a professional baseball player, especially if you want to be a Major League Baseball player, because there's so many levels to get to become that Major League Baseball player. You're going to have, depending on how old you are, you're going to have to play Little League and Babe Ruth and travel ball if you decide to do that, and high school ball and college ball and professional ball as far as the minor leagues. And then you've got to get through the low minor league. You got to get through it, short season ball and A ball and double A ball and triple A ball. And you have to get through all of these levels. And it takes a long, long time. And baseball is one of those games where there's not like just quick development. Like, development takes a long time. Right? It's an acquired skill that is acquired over years and years and years and years. And so you have to be patient. And that's why you have to embrace and really love the process of getting there and the journey of getting there, because it's going to be a long journey, right? And if you don't love it, you'll give up. Because you'll say, I don't know, why am I on this journey? I don't even like this journey. I'm going to be an astronaut today, okay? So you have to have consistency, yes. You have to love it, but you have to have a ton of patience, because it's going to take a long, long time to get to your ultimate goal. And I think the last thing, and then again, there's a lot of things, we could talk about this forever, but I think the last thing that comes to mind is you have to be okay with doing all the things I just talked about and still knowing that the chances of it happening are very, 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 very slim, and be okay with that. And that is, again, why you circle back to having to love it, because the chances of making it there are so slim that you don't want to put all this work in and not make it and say, man, I wasted my time. Why did I do that? Why did I waste all that time? I worked so hard and I just wasted it, right? You have to really, really love the process of it and the journey of it, right? And so, because most players aren't going to make it. Most players aren't going to make it to professional baseball, never mind Major League Baseball, right? Like I dedicated a ton of time and a ton of years and put pretty much everything I had into trying to make it to the major leagues and play for a really long time. And I got to the major leagues, but I had a very, very short career, like a really short career. I played 8 years professionally, but I only had like 60 at-bats in the major leagues. And I think I only had a year and something of service time. And most of that was spent not playing, injured, or just not on a baseball field, on the bench, right? And so you have to be willing and be okay with knowing that you could put all of this work in and make all these sacrifices along this journey and still probably not going to get there. And that's okay, because you loved it. Like, that's what you look back and you say, I loved every minute of working hard with, my teammates, or even just by yourself. A lot of it's going to be just down, I'd done a ton of work just in a basement. I can remember getting a traffic cone and a mattress in my garage and just hitting off of it and just trying to be the best player I could be, just by myself. And so enjoying all of those times of being with your friends and your teammates and working as hard as you possibly can for years and years and years and years, and loving it so much that even if you don't get to your ultimate goal, it's okay, because you enjoyed the ride, is essentially it. So if you feel like that, then go for it, because even though the chances are really tough. And even though, like, I think if you talk to people people have told me this all the time. I talk to coaches all the time. My coach just told me this literally like a couple weeks ago. I was talking to a coach I had when I was younger. And he was talking about, like, playing in the major leagues and playing professionally. And he said, man, thinking back to when you were younger, like, I would have never thought that you were going to play professionally and get drafted. He's like, but you just kept getting better and better and better and better and better. And he's like, every year you got better until you finally got there. But he's like, I didn't think you were ever going to, like, nobody thinks that. And no one watches young players and like, that guy's going to major leagues. That guy's going to be a professional player. I see great players all the time. I've been coaching now for, almost 10 years. I see great players all the time. A lot of them can't even play high college baseball, and they're great players. I watch a kid in high school. I'm like, this kid's a stud. And either they don't go on and play super high level college baseball, or they go and they sit on the bench, or they don't play a lot, they're not successful, and they're done, and that's it. Now we have players that get drafted. I've seen plenty of players get drafted. We've had, I think, 5 players drafted so far, but like, I've seen great players that don't ever sniff professional baseball, right? So, I mean, it's really difficult to do, but it's possible. And there's always a kid that you don't think there's a kid that you say, he's a good player, but I don't know if he's ever going to play college ball. Like, I'm not sure. And then he just gets a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And then you see him and he goes, plays college ball, and you're like, man, he's playing college ball. Like, it's a pretty good level right there. Like, that's crazy. I would have never thought that, but he's probably never going to be a starter there. Like, he's probably not going to get a lot of playing time. And he keeps getting better and he keeps getting better and he keeps getting better. And all of a sudden he's starting. And then the same thing happens and he gets drafted. And then, it just keeps happening. People told me when I went to Wake Forest, a lot of people said, don't go to Wake Forest. You're never going to play down there. You can't compete with guys from the South. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you can't do that. People will say that all the time about players from PA. Oh, you can't go down South and play. Like, nah, that's a waste, right? Like, I was told I couldn't go play college baseball in the ACC because it was down South, and those kids down South, they're so good. They're so good. You can't compete with those guys down there. Like, they play baseball all the time, And so, but I went down there and played and competed and did really well, got drafted, ended up playing the big leagues. So it can happen. So anyone that says, like, oh, yeah, like, I knew from time this kid was 12 years old he was going to play in the major leagues. There might be 1 or 2 of those guys out there, but most of them you have no idea. They have no idea. So it can be really difficult and it can be really tough, but you never know. Anybody can make it. You could make it. So hopefully this helps you out. It gives you a little bit of insight. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. We'll talk to you later. If you've got hitters that you're looking to improve before the start of next season, this is essential for you. Matt Antonelli here, former Major League player, first-round pick, and college coach. With this course, we're going to show you exactly, step-by-step, how to generate power, develop bat speed, and enhance swing mechanics. Regardless of your hitter's age, this course is going to deliver advanced hitting techniques that will allow any hitter to get better and make an impact at the plate this spring. We have a full catalog of training content that you can access from anywhere at any time. This course is perfect for players, parents, coaches, instructors, and more. It offers a comprehensive package of drills and techniques that you can directly implement. Our course has helped hitters all over the country at different competition levels, and the feedback that we've received has been outstanding. The work you put in now will drive your success at the plate this spring. Get the essential knowledge that you need to take your game to the next level. I've put the link in the description if you want to go check it out.